The Olympic groups have been made. And now we can talk a little bit about what that looks like on the pitch and from a group standpoint. So let's start with the women because we have a bit of a clearer version of what's going on there. So the women's groups have been set, and here are your groups. In Group A, you have the hosts, France, along with Colombia, New Zealand, and Canada. Those are the 4 teams in Group A. Group B has the United States, the CAF Team 2 for qualifiers, which should either be Nigeria or South Africa, with Germany and Australia. Then Group C, you have Spain, Japan, the CAF Group A winner, which should be either Zambia or Morocco, and Brazil. Those are your 3 groups. Now, reminder, it's top 2, and then the next top 2 third place finishers moving on to the quarterfinals. Meaning, if you're not top 2 guarantees, being a top third place team gives you a chance, but it's not guaranteed. Some very interesting matchups looking through. I think Group A, the host, v Colombia, will be interesting. Canada, I think, has enough quality at how they've been playing recently that they can either be top 2, maybe even top this group. It wouldn't shock me. But Colombia's a dangerous side, as well as France being the host. You cannot underestimate the team with the fans. Group B has the United States coming off an awful performance at the World Cup, but winning the Gold Cup W that just happened this winter, early year. Then playing either South Africa or a team like Nigeria, a team with pace on the counter, is very interesting because we saw what happened when Mexico were able to get a chance. The US have to be a little bit more clinical, I feel, but Germany and Australia coming off a great performance at their hosted World Cup, and Germany maybe doesn't have the same fear that it used to have, but still a quality side coming through. And then the defending World Cup champs with a team that still performs, the team with the names, and then either Morocco or Zambia. That's a very interesting group and mix of teams. I think the styles will be interesting. Japan versus Spain, passing wise, it comes down to, that's a rematch of a great game that they had in the World Cup, where it's going to come down to, again, being more clinical and who can move forward. I don't know if the CAF team can have as much success here. Maybe depending on who it is. We've seen Zambia have good performances against top European teams, but then we've also seen them play other teams there and have been able to slow them down. And the same thing with Morocco. I think whoever comes out of the CAF will be able to give enough work and enough of a difficulty to break down to these other 3 teams. So that is the women's side. We flip it over to the men's side. We have the groups that are here. So in Group A, you have France, the US, the AFC CAF playoff winner, and New Zealand. That's Group A, a solid group. The hosts, again, the US, looking like they could have a formal side, speaking from a CONCACAF perspective. Group B, you have Argentina, Morocco, Ukraine, and the third AFC team. So the Asian teams who are doing qualifiers right now. So we'll find that out in a little bit. Group C, we have the second AFC team with Spain, Egypt, and the Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic had a great run in their qualifiers, and I think they'll be an interesting side here. But you see the likes of Spain, you see the likes of Egypt. You could see Spain potentially running away with this, depending on who that AFC 2 group is. And then Group D, which is the more curious side to me. AFC 1 with Paraguay, Mali, and Israel. Political stances out of the way. It's an intriguing group on the pitch just because I think Mali on paper look good. Paraguay, you cannot underestimate them. And when it comes to the Asian qualifiers, we will have to wait and see how they come through. But I am very much curious to see which team can come out of Asia and go through, as that is taking place right now. So those are the 2 groups, guys. Let me know how you feel about how those 2 groups break down. I also want to ask a question. The Olympics is a bit, from a football tournament standpoint, it's interesting. You have national teams on the women's side, and you have U23s, but with some senior players selection on the men's side. My question to you is, at what point do you think the women should start to look more from an amateur standpoint? I'm not saying that they should or they shouldn't. It's just a question. Now, there's the comment that not all women's teams, not all federations invest in their women's teams proper. Not all of them have proper U17 teams, let alone a U23. But when we're looking at the schedule, as the game continues to grow, right, it may be a good idea to start to spear and push to see if you can get more of the amateurs on, more of those younger players. If amateur tournaments are built to showcase the youth and the young players, why not use that as an opportunity to start to showcase those emerging talents? Use the Olympics as an opportunity to really showcase, hey, these are the faces of tomorrow. Now, that doesn't always happen on the men's side, there's no doubt. One could argue that you have senior players because the men's U23 isn't as much of a selling point as it is without some of those senior players on the squad. But I think on the women's side, with the growth of the game, it does make it a little bit interesting. And it is a possibility. I know some may argue on the other side saying, well, on a national team, teams are catching up. Maybe not at the youth levels. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But I'm willing to have that conversation. So guys, let me know in the comments down below. Do you think the women's tournament should start to move towards amateurs? U23s is the specific age group I want to use. And even if we mirrored it from the men's, where it's U23s with some senior players, would that be a good option moving forward for the women's side in the future? Or you like to keep it the way it is, guys? We'll wrap it up there. Appreciate you guys spending some time with us. Until then, we'll just wrap it up right here.